Well, we're out at the field. This is the tree that they cut down. This was here about 100 years. And I set up my awning. That's the Weenie Man under there. Say hello to YouTube, Weenie Man.
Hi YouTube, how you doing?
And that's Steve Smith flying off in the distance. So, not much to report here. It's hot. Very humid today. Wind is kind of buffeting.
Changing.
I put up a flight or so already, and I don't know that I'm going to fly again. I'll wait to get to till I get to the Nats to practice. So we'll see you in a bit. Day 19, everybody. Went flying today. I got a few short clips I'll include with this of the flying field where they cut the tree down. I just put in a few flights, and it was hot and windy, real blustery. I would like to thank everybody for the emails and the private messages that you're sending me on these building videos. It makes me know that they're doing somebody some good. What we've got done now is the wing is ready to install. It's got 3 coats of dope on the wing. The elevator stabilizer, the horn's been installed. I have 3 coats of dope on it with the tissue. So this is ready to be installed. And all that's left is work on the fuselage. And I think how I'm going to do this fuselage, I'm going to do it a little different. I normally section the bottom one here and one here and slide the wing in and then put the section back on. But I think what I'm going to do, because these are so thin here, is I'm going to split it here at the doubler on both sides, and I'm going to slide the nose section on and then slide the tail section on so that they bolt together, or not bolt, but glue together fore and aft. That way, instead of the large areas that'll show, these will be hidden inside the superfill putty, because the fillets will cover that. I have yet to mount the cowl. I'll be working on that tonight. And first thing I need to do is I'm going to take 64th plywood and go all the way around the cowl and the fuselage area. I did not show how the crutch was made, but the crutch is just 3/8 by half maple motor mounts with end grain 1/2-inch balsa running this way, and it's all epoxy together. I did taper the ends to eliminate some of the hardwood weight. I have this all hollowed out before I glue the top block on, and the bottom block I'll be hollowing it some more to get some more of the weight out of it. Right now, if I weigh all the parts for the entire airplane, we're at 46 ounces. So if I were to put a 10-ounce finish on it, it would be a 56-ounce airplane. But that never works out that way, so we're looking at a 60-ounce airplane anyway. And that's about normal what they run. I did look over the wing and make sure that I had everything sanded real well. And I did have a couple of small spots that I used the 3M putty on. And I think what I'm going to do with this wing is, my Uncle Jerry was another flyer from the 40s. He flew with my dad. He used colored dope and talcum powder as a filler. That's an old trick, and I think that's what we're going to do on this airplane, because it's going to be red. And instead of using gray primer, I think I'm done with the substrate on the wing now. I'll switch to colored dope with talcum powder in it. And that way we're starting to dye the wood. Now you put that on and then sand 99% of it off. So, but that'll start to give this a reddish tint, so that it doesn't take much colored dope to cover the wing. And the same with this piece here. And this turned out real nice. It's almost 3 ounces, but it's large. It's 2.9 ounces. And that's just the way it goes. There's not much I can do with that. But these are my hinges, and it's pocket hinges, and they're real free. And oh, I want to talk about this too. I went to the Walgreens, and I do this a lot. I go in and I talk to the lady at the cosmetic counter and ask her about fingernail files, and she said, well, how many would you like? And I said, all of them. I buy them all at a time. They're, you know, they're relatively cheap, 89 cents or whatever. So if you buy 10, that's, you know, I usually get $10 worth. So that's, I use the fingernail files for anywhere, you know, that needs to be leveled. So from now on out, all the sanding on the wing will be done with 500 and 600 sandpaper. There's no more. I think we're done brushing too. I think we're going to switch over to spray to eliminate some of the sanding. I have yet to silk span the flaps, and that'll be the end of the silk spanning and that, except for the fuselage. And we'll probably get the fuselage jigged up and mounted late tonight or tomorrow. And I'll take this blanket off the glass, and I'll take my square and I'll draw some intersecting lines, and we'll start to jig it up. But that's where I'm at today. This is, like I say, day 19. I didn't make much progress today because we went flying. So I'm going to post this up and let you know where the progress is at. And like I say, I want to thank you guys for the nice letters that you've been sending me about these videos, because without those letters, I don't know if they're doing any good or not. I see that I got one dislike for my Continental paint repair out of Belgium. I don't know what that's about, but I mean, if you don't like them, you don't like them, and I'll stop doing them. So let me know. I'll see you in a few. Well, I was going to post this, but I got here looking at this, and I thought, you know what? Let's just put it together. So what I did was I split the fuselage like I told you, and I've separated them and pushed them back together and tack glued it. And the wing's in there loose right now, and the top block is just sitting on it. But and of course the elevator stabilizer is just sitting in there. But in 19 days, it's all together. And like I said, the wing is ready to paint. The elevator stabilizer is ready to paint. All we got to do now is finish the fuselage. And I'm figuring that's going to take me a couple of days. And by the looks of it, maybe before the Nationals, before I leave for the Nationals on Friday, it will be sitting on its wheels. So, and it's coming along very nice. Progress is real good on it. It's got a few spots I'm going to go over and doctor up, but other than that, it's going to be a nice airplane. So I'll post this up there and tinker with it a little bit and see where I come up, and if I get any points of interest, like the plywood piece. I'll show you how I put the plywood piece across there, and how I use the superfill on the inside of the fuselage and the outside, making that a good solid joint. And it doesn't add much weight, so that's a good thing. But it's not glued together yet, it's just sitting together. And I'll show you how I align it. So I'll be back in a few hours when I get everything ready. So we'll see you in a few. Okay, I'm going to align the wing, and I'm going to show you how I do it, or one of the ways that I do it. What I do is I have a piece of glass I'm working on here. Glass is really nice to work on because you can scrape off any of the glue. So what I do is I have a large square. I take a Sharpie marker and I draw a center line on that glass, like so. We're going to make sure that the glass is cut square, but it normally is. And it is. So we know we have a 10.5-inch nose and a 10 1/4 chord, so that comes out to 20 3/4 for the trailing edge. So I'll get another ruler here, and we're going to make another mark at 20 3/4. Right there. I don't know how good, or even if you can see it on the video, but the line that I drew first is the fuse center line, and this line here is the trailing edge line. So we have a perfect 90-degree right here, an X, and that's how we're going to line everything up. So let's get the fuselage, and we'll set that on there. Turn it upside down. Guess we need to take the flaps off. Flaps off here. I have a couple of square blocks. I'm going to make sure that these are at 90 degrees. They are. Put the block right there on the line, and the block right there. Now we can do it this way too. We might glue them down. And that's where the trailing edge will set. That's perfect. So now, for 0 incidents, I'll measure up from the glass to the trailing edge center and from the glass to the leading edge center. And we'll start manipulating it, gluing it in. So that's basically how I zero things out. Of course, there's a million ways to do things. This is just one way. Glue that block down. I can knock that block off when I get the wing glued in. So the trailing edge is right up against my blocks. The tail post is right on the center line that I drew. And then we come to the center of the fuselage here. Make sure that's on there straight. We're probably going to block that in. And then we're going to raise or lower the wing. And I have a little bit to play with there. But I'll get a ruler and I'll measure up from the glass to the center of the trailing edge and to the center of the leading edge to make sure that I have a 0 incidence on the wing. And if you want to be slick, because this is a flat piece of glass, when you go ahead and glue the stab in, you can draw a third line back there parallel, put some blocks on it just like we did here, and lay your stabilizer upside down on the center and have it touching the blocks, and that way everything's perfectly square. And this is just one way to do it. I've seen it a bunch of different ways, but this is one way to do it. So that's basically what we got going on here today. I don't know whether we're going to be gluing this down or not yet, because I do want to make sure that I have it in the right spot. So that's all we got, but I wanted to show you that. And I'll return when I got something else significant to show you.